It's your girl, Coach Nelly B, along with the Moxie Gen himself.
Eli Isabel.
And we are the host of
Get Moxie,
the lifestyle talk show, where we have solution-focused conversation to make the rest of your life your best life.
Welcome to Get Moxie, the lifestyle talk show, where we'll be delivering invigorating and solution-focused conversations which will cause your life to be your best life. Welcome your host and lovely life coach, Ms. Nelly B, and the Moxie Gent himself, Mr. Eli Isabel. So get ready to enjoy your life, but do it right, because it's time to get Moxie.
Welcome back to Get Moxie, your lifestyle talk show. I am your host, Coach Nelly B, along with the Moxie Gent himself.
I am Mr. Eli Isabel, and we're here today. I'm very excited. I think that the topic we're going to get into today is something that we really need to talk about.
Right.
Today, Coach Nelly, we're going to talk about the life of a single dad.
All right.
You know, we oftentimes talk about single women, their struggles, their triumphs, all the things that come with that. I thought it would be great today to get a different perspective.
Okay.
And being the male perspective.
Right.
So we're going to get into this show. Would you like to introduce our guests?
Absolutely. We have a wonderful one of Delaware's well-known. Out here in Delaware, we have with us Mr. Franco Thomas.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Probably say that to all the well-known in Delaware, you know.
The well-known. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Every day is beautiful, you know.
Good.
This side of the grass.
We are glad. We're honored to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
If anybody from Delaware, those of y'all watching, we all know Mr. Franco. Okay. Everybody knows him. So we're honored to have you here today with us.
There's going to be a bunch of people out there like, that's his real name? It's not Nitty? It's not Clarence Carter?
You be stroking.
So I'm a single dad.
Right.
We're excited to have you on the show with us today.
Definitely.
Welcome to Get Moxie to our second episode here on your Lapa TV 28 Comcast. Thank you for joining us.
And for those of you who tuned in to the first show, thank you.
Yes.
Continue to rock with us. We're going to bring you hopefully innovative, interesting, and lifestyle-changing conversations.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we always try to provide you guys with solutions to whatever the topic is that we're talking about. We don't want to just give you our personal advice, but also being professionals. We want to provide you with the best solutions to lifestyle issues. And today we're going to be talking about single parenting, particularly from a single dad's perspective, which is a great thing.
Right. All right. So, Mr. Franco.
Yes, sir.
New father.
Yes.
Right.
About 6 months in the game now.
Congrats.
Man.
Rookie
All
of the
right.
year.
Congratulations, brother. Now, so 6 months into the game means that to us, you're here, single dad. You and the mother are obviously not together at this point.
That's correct.
But how's the co-parenting going?
Co-parenting is actually pretty great. And to tell you the truth, you know, we've all seen it in the media to make it seem like the minute the parents are not together, everything's just going to go to pot, especially in our community.
Absolutely.
Oh, this guy's going to run away or what have you, not going to go on. But no, we get along great. We're great friends.
Awesome.
Wow.
And she actually, I look to her for a lot of like the advice on the child rearing thing too. You know, I don't just, I try to learn things on my own too, but I also understand when I need help. So I'm like, yeah, so about this.
Well, I think that's a big thing because especially for a male to, ask for the advice. You know,
Right.
sometimes, you guys have your egos.
Yeah.
And your
Yes, we do.
pride. So to ask for the advice, especially on raising a child, I think that's good. That's a
Yeah.
really good thing.
Yeah,
It's big of you.
It's a little more complicated than just trying to find my own directions.
Right.
It's a whole nother life now.
Right.
Let
You're
me not mess
responsible
it
for
up.
Right. I hear you.
So let me ask you this question: how do you view the world differently now, being a dad and being a father of a girl?
Right.
Woo! So how I view the world differently? Well, first, as a parent now, I look at parenting differently. When I say parenting differently, I mean other parents. Before I had a child, of course, if I saw somebody doing something that I didn't think too highly of, let's say, let's say for instance some form of neglect.
Okay.
I might just be like, okay, yeah, that's messed up or something, or they need to do better.
Right.
But now as a parent, if I see, let's say a parent, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you see a parent walking through the streets 10 feet ahead of their 3-year-old child,
yes,
right?
Yes.
You know, who's fending across the street for themselves because they too busy on their phone or
On
texting.
4th Street.
Yes, exactly. And now I'm just getting infuriated inside, like what the heck? Like, come on, really?
Right.
So you find yourself to be more passionate.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, as for the part about having a girl, yeah, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to go to Target Masters or something, take up a couple courses.
Oh, that time is coming.
You lost my right to bear arms.
Right.
Wow.
And even especially, I mean, being well known for who you are, just the personality that you are, that you haven't dealt with, but also because of your history. I mean, we all have a past, you know, and now all of us here sitting here as parents, we kind of, do you ever reflect on the stuff that you've done in your past and say, now looking at your daughter, I don't want her to experience that? Or
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, me personally, I don't feel like I've been, let's say, quote unquote, too terrible in my past.
Okay.
You know, I passed. I mean, I'm not gonna say I was a saint.
Never had your windows busted out or nothing.
Right. Yeah. So you know, but you know, I feel like some of the things that, let's say, I did that were less savory in my young dumb days.
Right.
You know, and looking back on those now and being able to reflect and being more mature, at least if nothing else, I can give her the knowledge to how to avoid that, or how to pick up on when a guy's trying to do these things, or if he's trying to run a certain game, or if he's just out for, you know, he has negative intentions. I feel like I can instill that in her, and you know, beat him up if I have to,
You know
if it does go that route.
It helps that you're 3, 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little dad, so I have to actually probably bring the gun.
No gun violence.
Just
No
kidding.
Gun violence.
Jokes.
Right.
So now, as a single dad, what's dating? Or I don't know if you're even starting the process of dating yet, but what's that look like now?
I won't say I'm dating per se.
Okay.
I mean, I've been out on dates. You know, I'll get to know people and stuff, but I can't. I guess in the actual definition of it, I don't do it consistently enough with any one person or any bunch of people even to say I'm dating. And that's because I was still, you know, taking a lot of time adjusting to fatherhood too.
Right.
Because you know, one of those things. Now you got to start thinking about, well, you can't just have them come over to your place willy-nilly anymore because if my child is there, then no, that's off limits. Things of that nature. But whereas I just thought I was going to be washed, honestly. When I found out I was having a child, I was like, nobody's gonna want me now. Not because it made me any less of a person or bad a person.
Right.
You know, you always hear this term, baby mama drama. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're gonna be worried about all that. Especially, it's different if, let's say, I already had a toddler or something.
Right.
Okay, well they said they were like, no, this is new for him, and he was like, I don't know what his situation is with the mother, this and that and the other. But lo and behold, no. They,
so it's actually been the other way around, huh?
Yes, I would say I think I got way more love than I expected.
Wow.
You know, from the women out there.
Wow.
Shout out to you ladies. Follow me on Instagram at OG Nitty, Facebook at Clarence Carter.
This guy.
Dollar in a Dream.
Right.
Shout out to T Hop.
All right, listen. As we focus him.
Yeah.
So at some point, if you and the mother do not come back together as a family unit, at some point she's gonna start dating. You're going to start dating. So at some point, there's going to be another man around your child. How do you think you're going to deal with it? Have you thought that far into it?
Thought that far into it, actually have had the conversation about it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Communication is key in any relationship or non-relationship or whatever you want to call
Absolutely.
it. Co-parentship. Yeah, because I thought about that. And I already think, you know, I don't want just any man around my child.
Right.
You know, hey, let's get a background check going. Is he on the sex offender registry? Things of that. You know, this is real, because you see it in the streets. You see what's going on.
Right.
You know, just because Chris Hansen not doing it to catch a predator anymore doesn't mean a predator is still out there, right? But also, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, you worry about who's going to be around your child. And even I want to make sure he's a good enough guy for her. Because my child's mother's a wonderful woman. So, you know, I want them both in the best situation. And I know at the same token, I need to show that same courtesy and respect that, you know, she would have the same issue with women to be around her. So we had this discussion. I said, well, you know, I wouldn't want just any old man willy-nilly coming around my child. Understand you're going to be out there on a dating scene whenever you choose to. You're free to do that. But get something serious going first or something. You know, let me get a meet with him too. If you feel like you're ready, when you feel like you're ready to bring him around, well, bring me around and let me size him up a little bit, and I will show you the same respect, you know, as it goes with women. So we've had that discussion, and we're on the same page with that.
I think what's very important is the fact that you guys are mature and you're handling this in a mature manner. A lot of, you know, co-parenting situations, they go left because they lack the maturity. They're selfish. They're really just about themselves and their own desires and their own needs, which ultimately affects the child. But the fact that you guys have a good community, have a good relationship, you guys communicate really well, and you consider all the aspects of what could be, what will be, what isn't, whatever. I think that you guys are setting a great foundation, and I think that's very important for any relationship. Like you said, communication is key. But nobody talks real anymore.
Right.
You know, everybody talks the rah-rah, as we call it. You know, nobody really wants to address the real issue. The real deal may be she may move on, you may move on, but let's talk about it.
Right. And it's true. I have to agree. Thank you for that, first of all. But it's true because I think where people lose focus is, again, it's not about you anymore. It's bigger than you.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's all about this child. She didn't ask to come into this world, or he didn't ask to come into
That's
this world. Now you got to come together for this one common goal. Same way you see any sports team, all the players don't get along off the field or off the court, whatever. But once you get on that court, matter of fact, San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan doesn't hang out with Tony Parker and them. This is known, this is knowledge. But you couldn't tell based on the way they play, right? And the way they get on. And that's the same thing, you know, we try to bring to the table here. So yes, good fathers are out there.
That's right. And we want to celebrate those brothers that are out in our community doing the right thing. So let me throw this question at you. As you move forward, each of you move forward in your dating lives, what's a time frame in your mind that you think, all right, I've been seeing this girl for 6 months, 7 months. When should I bring this new person around my daughter? What's your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't try to put a time frame, like a calendar type time frame, or you know, a certain amount of time. I won't quantify it. You have to go by certain feelers or certain indicators. I feel like, one, you have to feel like, okay, is this going somewhere? Do I see myself long term with this person? Because sometimes in the first 2 to 3 months you can see yourself in a long term thing with this person, but sometimes you could be 6, 7 months in and still not sure. So let's say you 6, 7 months in, you're not sure, then you probably wouldn't want to bring them around a child yet, because see, the thing is, you know, I feel like children are impressionable. Even if both parents are still in it, children are still impressionable. So the same way, if I'm bringing a woman around, this child might see, I won't, you know, for lack of a better term, a second mother, let's say, if they're around enough, or somebody they can kind of grow attached to. The same way, if you know, a man's coming around my child, she might start to feel a certain type of attachment if he's around enough. Now, if you just up and disappear after the child kind of takes a liking to you, that's, again, that negatively affects the child. They're going to want to know, well, dang, might want to know what happened to that person, but then it might make them get to thinking, well, dang, is that why my dad not, you know, with mom or staying around? So you don't want all these things going through children's minds, because they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah, absolutely, they are. They really are. What are your thoughts on, because I actually had a conversation with one of my girlfriends about this. She's a single mother with a son, and, you know, she has her friends that she brings over, and when she's ready to become intimate, you know, she'll bring him over late night, and she'll lock her door while her son is sleeping in his room, and, you know, she'll do what she does. Me personally, being a single mom myself, I just can't fathom even being intimate with somebody else with my son just down the hall. For me personally, and I know it's a personal thing, but what are your thoughts on that? Because the incident was, apparently he had woke up in the middle of the night and went in her room and saw both of them in bed together, and it wasn't daddy.
So this was a guy he'd never seen before?
No, he's never seen. She had been doing this for a while, so, but it was always to the point where he was always asleep. He stayed asleep. It just happened this one night. He happened to wake up and he opened mommy's door. They weren't intimate. They were just laying on the bed, and he was like, "Who are you?" And, "Mommy, this is not daddy." You know, so, you know, she called me in a rage, like, what am I supposed to do, Nelly? But I mean, I told her that's why I just don't take those risks, because again, like you said earlier, it's not about us anymore. And if I'm going to do what I need to do, I'm going to make sure my son is not home, or you know, he's somewhere else where I know he's safe, and then I'm going to do me, or I'm going to leave my house, like, you know. But what are your thoughts on?
Well, I would say, like you said, to each his own.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, no judgment, definitely.
To each his own. Lock your door next time, you know. Or get a lock for your bedroom door, because you just never keep. You know, kids don't knock.
They don't.
I don't even know how the child is, but he's old enough to come down the hall and open the door. That means you need to put a lock on the door.
Yeah, she said she forgot to lock it that day.
You know, I myself might have been in a position where a child has come a knocking, but, you know, thank goodness the mother had the wherewithal to lock the door. So, or you hear the door knock. Luckily they couldn't get, so you got time to hustle up at least.
Right.
You know, just be sitting there watching TV. Yeah, I'm just watching TV. You know. But yeah, to each his own, but like you got to take more precautions than that. I mean, of course, anything can happen at any given time, but you got to be able to, can you say to yourself, did I put everything in place that I need to try to prevent this, to where if something did happen, it was just an ish happened moment.
Right.
Because see, that was preventable.
Right.
Had she just simply locked the door, you wouldn't have had that call. You
Right.
wouldn't have the call would have been different. Girl, let me tell you, I had a close call. Whew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the one thing, the overwhelming theme that you presented to us today is communication.
Oh, yes.
Key.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think if you and that significant other can maintain that, then you can be two great single parents
Right.
and move forward
Right.
and raise a healthy child.
Can't stress communication enough. And I'm gonna tell you why. Well, for the obvious reasons and for the reasons we mentioned, throughout this program.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't have that communication, next person gonna be communicating is the judge. Last person you want
This is
communicating
true.
on your relationship, on your relationship with your child or what have you.
preaching, honey.
You
You
know, next thing
preaching.
you know, and it's crazy because somebody would think I've experienced this, which I haven't, right?
Right.
But you've seen it.
Right.
Or I have friends who've gone through it, and I don't want to go through that. I don't want anybody telling me when I can see my child,
Right.
how to raise my child,
Right.
how much I need to pay each month for my child up until whatever day.
Right.
I need to be able to say, okay, this is what the child needs, this is what the child's going to get,
Right.
whether it's from me, the mother, or the both of us combined. And really, it does just come from the conversation.
Right.
Right.
It comes from a conversation, so communication is definitely key, but also maturity.
Maturity and understanding.
Responsibility is key too, and I always like to stress, even on the talk show, the radio show, responsibility is more than just owning up to your decisions, but being okay with the consequences. Like you said, you did what you did, you have the child. At this point, I may not be the happiest, whether you like the other parent or not, whatever it may have happened, but I have to take responsibility. So I'm gonna put me down to the side. I'm gonna
Right.
be mature and do what I need to do because I don't want the judge determining my every
Right.
factor with my child. So communication is key, but maturity and responsibility is key as well. Those all go hand in hand.
And it's crazy because in that same respect, or in that same aspect, we've all seen it. We've all probably had jobs we didn't like, but
Right.
bills had to be paid, right?
Absolutely.
We see people hate
Yep.
their jobs,
Yep.
but they know the bills had to be paid. And they'll put up with that same job for 10,
There it
15,
is.
20 years, complaining every
There
day,
it
but they
is.
won't get out the situation because they know they have an obligation to a bigger
Obligation.
picture. Yet somehow we don't take the same mentality and apply it to the child.
Yes. So true.
No,
that's
that's good.
good.
That's good stuff.
That's real good.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I think, you know what, I just think we have a tendency to get in our own way. And if you can remove the emotion of whatever happened in that relationship between you and her, whether it be
Right.
good or bad, remove the emotion. Once you remove the emotion from it, then things will be okay.
Right.
As long as there's emotion, oh, well, I want to be with you, you don't want to be with me, and we have this baby and I'm angry. When you have situations like that, that's where you have all the drama.
Right. Right.
Again, communication and maturity. And a lot of people, they go into situations where there is no maturity.
Right.
And things just go way left, and the child is the one that suffers.
Right.
Yeah, we have yet to come to that agreement. When we're mad, when I'm mad with you, you're mad with me.
Right.
Then we don't even worry about our kid.
Right.
It's me and you, and he might suffer in the meantime, but I got to get back at you. You got to get back at
right.
me.
Right.
So again, maturity and communication is definitely the key.
With the responsibility with that too is something we talked about on the radio show as well, as about the warning signs.
Right.
We get into these relationships, we see that this person isn't responsible, we see that this person is not going to be a good parent, or the qualities they possess is not something you would want to spend your life long dealing with, whether it be together as a couple or co-parenting or whatever. Yet we still make decisions to have sex unprotected. And then when we have a child, now here comes the resentment. But if we took looking at responsibility, the warning signs were there from the beginning.
Well, when you love somebody or you think you love somebody, they can have 20 million warning signs pop up. But if you, I love him, this is the perfect guy for me, I like the way they look, the way they move, where they work at, then all this stuff is casted aside.
Got them blinders
Believe if a person shows you who they are, believe that. That's not a lie.
Right.
They believe that. If they have a bad relationship with their mom, or if they have other children that they don't deal with, why
Right.
would you want to have a baby with this person?
Right.
So there's really a big picture that we have to focus on.
And it all starts with choice, honestly. I mean, like you said, even though we see everything, they fit our list, as we talked
Right,
about the
the
last
list.
show. They fit our list. However, we're allowing our emotions to override our intellect. Because at the end of it, and I always tell people, never make a decision in an emotional state, because you will always regret it. You will always, because you're not thinking rationally. So like you say, yes, I see the warning signs, but I'm so in love, let me disregard them and just love him for who he is. But when you make that choice, at the end of the day, you got to take responsibility. You got to swallow the pill, whatever comes with that. You have to be okay with that. Don't go busting out car windows. Don't go cussing him out and bringing him to court to be spiteful of you. This is a choice you made.
Right.
You know.
So, Franco, let me ask you this: being a new dad, there has to be some financial adjustments made.
Oh, yeah.
So, what are some of the things that maybe you may not get to enjoy that you used to as a single man with no children, as opposed to now? What's changed?
It's so funny you should ask. First of all, let me preface that by saying kids are expensive. Point blank period. Can't sugarcoat it.
Amen.
Child care alone.
Oh my God.
That's rent. Child care is rent.
Absolutely. And then you don't qualify for state assistance. They say you make so
Listen,
much.
Long gone are the days where you can just send them with grandma
Right,
while you go to work and you pick them up at the end of the workday.
Exactly.
What happened to those days?
Those days are gone.
Now, to answer the question, it's funny because, like I said, new in the game, 6 months, right? So 2014, I had told myself last summer. You know, I went to the Bahamas last summer. No, not last summer. I went to the Bahamas last summer on a cruise, first time on a cruise, everything, right? So I was like, oh man, this was great. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to live life more. 2015, I'm going to 2 or 3 places. Jamaica, because I feel like I'm the only person that's never been to Jamaica, and that's crazy because I'm Caribbean.
And you're from the islands,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm going to either go to London, Italy, or Paris.
Right.
Both of those, 2 of those places are going to happen summer 2015. Then I found out I was having a kid on the way.
Right.
I've only been to D.C. and New York, 2015.
Right.
I haven't. My passport is collecting so much dust right now.
Exactly.
Wow.
Talk about, and that's just one financial adjustment. It's a
Yes,
big one, but that's the
yes.
one that keeps sticking out. I was like, man, you know what though? Once I get fully acclimated to this,
Right.
I'm gonna get my budget right. I'm going somewhere in 2016.
There you go.
I heard that. Yeah, it's definitely. Listen, I have a 16-year-old by my ex, and even with just regular child support, as I've learned to understand, that doesn't cover everything. So there are times where now she's in FMLA and all these different things at school, these different clubs that all require money.
Oh yeah.
And so there's always just preparing you.
Right.
There are always extra expenses. At Christmas time, you send child support, but at Christmas time, they're still like, okay, Dad, what are you getting me?
Exactly.
Right.
So just kind of be prepared. Definitely be prepared for these things going forward. Child support doesn't solve all of the financial woes that may, and hopefully you never even get there.
Right.
You guys have. Seems
Yeah.
like you have a situation where you will never, land in that spot. You never know. But if you do, just be prepared. Be mentally
Right.
prepared and ready.
Right.
And men, humble yourselves.
Can
If you want to
say
avoid that
again?
child support, humble
Say it
yourselves. It's okay to take some L's.
Yes.
Choose your battles. Trust you, me. I've taken
Exactly.
many an L that I normally wouldn't have taken more than 6 months ago.
So what's an example of an L
Like,
you've
it
taken?
could just be any petty argument.
Right.
She might have done something I didn't like, or something we've discussed that I didn't like or something. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just pull out an example. Not saying this is actually happened, but let's say if it get on my nerves that you don't wash dishes at your
Right.
place at all,
Right.
maybe your place is not clean, right? And I might come over and tell you something about yourself, and then you might say something back, and that's gonna lead to a whole argument.
Right.
And I could, lash out and just leave, right? And that's that. But now, I was like, nah, let me not do that. Because I said those might be the little things that kind of start making a person,
Exactly.
get petty,
Exactly.
if you will.
Exactly.
I
Enough
think
of those
I want to
little
avoid
things.
all of those
Right. Oh,
things.
yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, it's really good to hear from a male's perspective because we always hear the women. We always hear the women and the single mom. And like you said, single moms always get a lot of accolades. But it's good to hear that even what you saying, men be humble. I think that's awesome because especially with the ego, the pride,
And
that
98%
destroys
of the time, a
things.
man gonna lose in court. 99% of the time,
99, yeah.
a man's
Especially
gonna
if
lose
you're
in court.
African-American.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've been there. I've been in front of that guy. And to be completely honest, if you have a mate who works and is self-sufficient, they won't kill you too bad. You get hurt when you have someone who doesn't work. They may be on public assistance or medicated. If you have a mate like that, you're gonna get hit
Right.
hard. But if you have someone who's making just as much money as you, they'll meet you in the middle. It can be. I'm proud to say my thing was reasonable. I still have to give extra money periodically.
Right.
But I mean, that's kind of par for the course. And I want my child to be happy and have what she needs. So I think men, we have to kind of get away from looking at it like, oh, she's trying to hurt me or they're trying to take all this money from me.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's about your kid.
And I think you made a good point because I hear a lot of men say, oh, I gave child support, but she's putting gas in the car, or I gave her child support, but she's paying the electric bill with it. And it's like, and so what you talking about humbling yourself, like let's put this thing into perspective. And I'm not trying to, defend the baby mothers that are not doing their part, but the legitimate ones who are legitimately taking the child support and paying electric. Well, how do you?
There's
how
nothing
does
wrong
that-
with that.
Exactly,
Yeah,
the
the
child
child
is in
needs
the
heat
home.
and
Yeah.
light.
Yes. But you hear a lot of that, and the men they gripe about that, and she putting gas in the car. Well, how does the child get to school? Like the mom has to take the child to school. So yes, for you to say, men, humble yourself, and I would encourage men to really take time and really put things into perspective. Like
Right.
really make sense of what's going on.
And that just jumps back to what y'all spoke about earlier with the maturity thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, especially nowadays, I mean, I can probably say with a degree of certainty that I was fortunate enough that it happened to me at 35.
Right.
Right.
All right. I've been through a lot in life. You know, I've made my mistakes or what have you, and I've come to a certain point of maturity.
Right.
Who knows how I might have been at 25?
Right.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
but we see it out there now where it's babies having babies.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly,
so you might
exactly.
have two 17-year-old parents.
Mm-hmm.
What do these children know about, like you
Right.
said, communication and maturity and humbling
And
yourself?
her mom's
and all that?
34 and her grandma's 50.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So you might have
No
seen
one's
it.
taught anybody anything.
Right.
Right.
You
I
know.
also think the point of reference is important too, like our upbringing. Because I know you said you're from the islands. You know, me being from the islands, the way we were brought up, it really gives us a different reference point
Yes.
of how to raise children and how to be with our family members. So I think you also got to look at that too, even when
Yeah.
dealing with different people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it goes back to family tradition. You can have a tradition of people like you guys or that
From the
the
South.
parents are involved,
Right.
the grandparents involved. You have this community around the kid, or you can have that tradition where nobody's involved. There's no dad around.
Right.
There's no uncles. They're all in jail. Like we have all these things that are going on in our community that it could be traditions can be established whether they're good or bad.
Right.
So I think we have to make sure that especially you being a new dad, going forward, this is your chance to start a new tradition, or to continue a legacy that you were a part of.
Yes.
Right.
So I think that's important too.
Bring back the village, y'all.
Well, we're gonna wrap up in a little bit, but what advice would you give any new father, both you and Eli, you know, to any new father, any father that's out there that may be struggling with, you know, trying to raise their family or trying to be a good dad? What advice would you guys give them?
Continually replay this episode because all the gems that were dropped here can be applied.
Yes.
And also, just always take a step back before you take an action.
Right.
Take a step back and truly think about it. Like sometimes I may, you know, like I don't even speak from an angry place anymore. If I get upset, I don't even bring it up. I go think about it, calm myself, and if I had an issue, then I bring it up calmly.
Right.
But in anything you do, take a step back
Right.
and just
Right.
think about it.
Right.
I think real quick before we wrap up, I think if you keep in mind that the focus is your child, and if you can keep your child first, you'll be fine.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Well, thank you guys, both of you all, for sharing your perspective on fathering and
Certainly.
being a single dad. Thank you, Franco,
Thank
the
you for
one
having
and
me.
only that has joined us. We thank you and appreciate you. You are watching Get Moxie Lifestyle Talk Show. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's show. We hope you got some information that's going to be helpful to you and your situation. Tune in next week, same time, same place. Thank you for being here with us. It's your girl, Coach Nelly B, along with the Moxie Gen himself.
Eli Isabel.
And we are the host of
Get Moxie,
the Lifestyle Talk Show, where we have solution-focused conversation to make the rest of your life your best life.